The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. The X Zone is heard right around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, Star Cable, and our family of broadcast affiliates right across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. Toll free worldwide, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Darab Lawyer. He is one of the authors of Revelation 911, Son of Apollo. His co-author is Clinton Libbey, and this is a novel of the new Revelation 911 series, a modern-day epic that prophesizes the future as we prepare to enter the day of the new age of Aquarius, where the never-ending battle between good and evil will finally be decided. Joining me now is Darab Lawyer. The website is www.sonofapollo.com, and that's S-U-N of Apollo.com. Darab, welcome to the X Zone.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rob. Appreciate it.
Darab, tell us a little bit about yourself, and what is your fascination, or what is the motivation behind your new book, Revelation 911, Son of Apollo?
Well, Rob, what created the book, Son of Apollo, was a vision or a dream that I had about Stonehenge, the pyramids, and the belt stars of Orion. Mm-hmm. And that led to the creation of Son of Apollo, in which a comet explodes over Stonehenge. It beams energy into Stonehenge. And we give the fascination with what the ancient wonders do has always been a passion of mine. I've always tried to figure out what these ancient wonders do. And the Stonehenge is a decoding station. It takes the messenger sent by God. Comets, if you might take a step back here,
sure,
are considered messengers sent by God to foreshadow things to come. So in a layman's terms, the comet that showed up in 1811 foreshadowed the War of 1812. Okay? Mm-hmm. So pretty much what happens in Son of Apollo is that a comet explodes over Stonehenge. It beams energy into Stonehenge. Stonehenge is an ancient decoding device that translates the information, blasts it out into the Earth's energy matrix, and all of a sudden the protagonist or main character wakes up and he's seeing pyramids.
Fascinating. Now, your name, Darab, that's a rather unusual name.
Yeah, it is, and pretty much it comes from the saga of the Aryans. And I just wanted to start out by saying in ancient times, Aryan meant race of noble ones. We were all races of noble ones till evil first came to this planet and divided and conquered, and we still await the Supreme Being to come back and right the wrongs that were done back in the ancient times. So pretty much Darab was a general of the Aryan Empire, and in Persian creationism, they believed in that the Garden of Eden was the ancient city of Orion, which was in Arianism, I would say the religion is Zoroastrianism. And I'm sure you've seen that in the Zoroastrians basically foretold they were the first monotheistic religion. Judaism disputes this and says that they're dualistic.
Darab, stand by. You and I have to take our 2-minute commercial break. Exonation, Darab Lawyer is our special guest. He is the co-author of Revolution 911, Son of Apollo. We'll be back on the other side of this break in 2 minutes. Don't go away. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net. 1-800-610-7035, worldwide toll-free. Email xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv at hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Darab Lawyer is our special guest this hour, and he is the co-author with Clinton Libbey of Revelation 911, Son of Apollo. Before we went to the commercial break, you were telling us the origin of your name, Darab, which is rather unique, and maybe we can just finish this off, because I really do want to hop into the meat of the topic and talk about the Mayan calendar and such.
Great, yeah. Pretty much, Darab was the general of the Aryan Empire when evil first came to this planet. And in Son of Apollo, we say that God, and in the saga of the Aryans, God basically, evil became very powerful. And they had to trap evil on this planet. Mm-hmm. God had to trap evil, so he unveiled the blue planet, Earth's final battleground, in which we look at it now as this is the final battleground where good and evil will finally be decided.
Let me ask you this, Darab. Why do you think the idea of 2012 as a phenomenon is gaining such traction and widespread viral popularity in our modern culture in the 21st century?
Well, I mean, you can look at this in a variety of ways, but, Son of Apollo does take the position that all the world's religions and New Age philosophies can be integrated into a single truth. When you integrate science, religion, and astrology and other New Age philosophies together, you can get, that type of special view that the world, which embraces new thoughts without, offending our ancient traditions. It's pretty much what we tried to achieve in Son of Apollo.
In Son of Apollo, you integrate Mayan and religious prophecy into a tale of good versus evil that will end on December the 21st, 2012. Can you expand a little bit on this?
Yeah. They are it all starts with the end of the Mayan calendar. The Maya were expert keepers of time, and it's been funny. We've been on so many radio shows and had such a warm embracing from the public on the novel that when you look at it, they could predict a solar or lunar eclipse thousands of years into the future.
Right.
And one funny thing is that when we speak to people, they go, oh, well, did they, coordinate the leap year that we had this year? And you know what? Of course they did. And, it would have been a funny, ironic twist to the book, and Clinton and I did think of that. But, they know what they're talking about, and if they could predict a lunar or solar eclipse thousands of years in the future,
in fact, the Mayans knew well before Galileo that, that the solar system and the evolution and the way the solar system works, they knew this before Galileo.
Yeah, they did,
Yeah.
and that's a great point that you brought up. When you look at it, they all thought that the world thought in the beginning that if you took a ship and you were going to fall off the end of the earth,
Right.
and everything then revolved around the earth, because of course everything revolved around the earth. Right.
Well, looking at the people back then, their limited knowledge of the world, they didn't have Google Map, they didn't have a globe that they could look at, and yet the Mayan, who were expert astronomers, expert mathematicians, knew what the real story was.
Yeah, and they did it thousands of years. In 3114
Yep.
BC was the beginning of the Mayan calendar, and it was called the birth of Venus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Son of Apollo, the way we take the slant is that on December 21st, 2012, will be the death of Venus, unless true love is found between the main character and his female soulmate.
So I've noticed that in Son of Apollo, you use creative interpretations of science, astrology, and religion. Now, how do you integrate these themes into your book, Son of Apollo?
You know what? That took a long time to do.
It must have.
It was a job, so to say. In Son of Apollo, we pretty much took the position that all the world's religions and philosophies can be integrated into a single truth. I want to get back to Zoroastrianism, because Zoroastrianism, which was the first religion which was considered to birth all religions, was considered the mother of all religions, and everything came out of that. Even though Judaism claimed that it was dualistic in nature, with a god of good and a god of evil, but in Zoroastrianism they claim that the god of good wins. So pretty much, it can't be that it is dualistic.
All right. So let me ask you this. What makes Son of Apollo so unique in this day and age?
Well, you know what? There's several messages that we're trying to send our readers. First, there's going to be balance between... See, the New Age of Aquarius, and I just wanted to explain to the listeners today that, going back to the 1960s, where the New Age of Aquarius was dawned, they were feeling the revolution. And in today's society, you hear it, you're feeling the revolution, you're seeing it in everyday modern society, in every culture. Everybody believes in an end of days prophecy.
Well, not everybody, I don't.
Well, pretty much most cultures believe.
Why?
Because in what Son of Apollo is based upon is that the ending of a battle between good and evil will finally be decided. And that when you look at it, there has to be change.
Sure,
and
has to be
as we
change.
go into the we generation, which is about the age of Aquarius, where the age of Leo, 12,500 years ago, was about the age of I. I. Too much I doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah, there's
Okay?
no I in team. That's right.
Exactly. So when you look at it, the age of Aquarius is about and you're seeing this with social media, okay? What do people do? They go on Facebook, they go on Twitter. Where do I go to eat? What do I do? How do I go on to find out, they ask their friends about things, and that's the we generation. So many things have been built upon, going into, religion, science. If you, pretty much Son of Apollo is like a mission impossible into the kingdom of the Antichrist. Okay? That's what it is in a nutshell.
All right,
Okay?
so you're taking a little bit of everything and throwing it into the melting pot, and you came out with Son of Apollo.
Right. And that was the beauty of it, that when I had the dream and vision, and what I did was, Rob, I woke up in the morning, and I drew a map of the Milky Way, unbeknownst that it was the Milky Way, and I drew the belt stars of Orion, and then I found out, and I looked, and I was like, well, in the age of Leo, that the belt stars aligned with the pyramids. They were built in alignment with the pyramids. So what I did was I took that, and I said, well, in my birth chart, astrological chart, I have 3 grand trines. Now, just to tell you, Nostradamus had 3 grand trines in water signs, okay? I have 3 grand trines in water signs. The protagonist in Son of Apollo does not have 3 grand trines in water signs. He has 3 grand trines, earth, air, and fire. Okay, he lacks the water grand trine, which Nostradamus called aquatic triplicity, which is the grand trine of water, and that the Antichrist would have. So the protagonist, Darius Prince in Son of Apollo, needs what the Antichrist has in order to create balance and take us to the next level, where the Antichrist has the elements needed from Darius Prince to destroy good and take us into a state of eternal darkness.
I noticed that you're using Greek mythology versus Christianity in the Book of Apocalypse, and you're also throwing in the Mayan calendar. You're throwing in the age of Aquarius of the 60s. What is the straightforward flow of the book?
Well, the one thing that we always, when we wrote the book, Son of Apollo, we looked at, we wanted to integrate everything together. Clinton and I, to take a step back, went to Bible camp together, okay, in Rumney, New Hampshire. And we were schooled in the prophecies of Revelation, that we were deeply into the apocalypse, that the world was going to end, the seas were going to turn red, locusts with the faces of man. I mean, you know what? It didn't scare me one bit. I loved it. I love Ozzy Osbourne. I love all the apocalypse. I mean, I consider rock and roll bands to be, prophets who were singing about the apocalypse. So it just drove me, and I looked at it, and I was really so infatuated with it that, everything happens for a reason, Rob.
Yes, sir.
And that's the message we're trying to say in Son of Apollo. And when you look at the way we intertwined astrology, mythology, religious prophecy, numerology, I mean, you would just be fascinated that we could put it into 271 pages. I mean, we could have written an anthology. It's our Iliad. It's our Odyssey. Okay? Apollo was the god of light, prophecy, music, and poetry, and we combine that all into a fast-moving action-adventure thriller in which all that, with a new world order attached and a chip-based cashless society that is controlled by a one-world government, will come into play. And if you're Orwellian in nature or you've read Aldous Huxley, you'll definitely agree that, we are under this guise of this new world order, even though some people turn a blind eye to it.
You and I have to take a commercial break with the news at the bottom of the hour. Darab, please stand by. Darab, let me see. Darab Lawyer is our special guest, Exo Nation. www.sunofapollo.com. That's www.sunofapollo.com. sonofapollo.com. And we'll be back on the other side of this news break as we continue here in the X Zone from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net. And welcome back, everyone. Darab Lawyer is our special guest. He is the co-author of a very interesting book that certainly would make a welcomed addition to any library out there. It's entitled Revelation 911. Son of Apollo, and Son is spelled S-U-N, not S-O-N, but S-U-N of Apollo. Their website is www.sonofapollo.com. Co-author Clinton Libbey is going to be with me next week talking about this fascinating book. And Darab, I want to thank you so much for joining us. You certainly bring a different perspective to the end-of-the-world scenarios. And as we both know that throughout history, there have been well over 280 some odd end-of-the-world prophecies that have been made, and thankfully none have come true to this point. What makes December the 21st, 2012 so different?
Well, there will be a galactic alignment between the Sun, the Earth, and the Milky Way center of the Milky Way galaxy on that date. And they call it the Dark Rift. This is a black hole that will be in alignment with us. Now, a tremendous force, which is the most powerful force in the universe, will be unleashed on that day.
How do we know that?
Well, if you look at the astronomers and you go anywhere and Google it or go online, you'll see that they have found with the telescopes that there is a black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy.
Okay.
So when you look at that, now what happens when we're in alignment? Do we get sucked into a black hole and all of a sudden we go to the next level?
Nope.
Or are we going into a black hole? Because I think, what was the movie back in the 70s when I was a little kid, or 80s? It was The Black Hole, and you wondered how you could get through a black hole without being crushed. It's the most destructive force of nature.
But if there is a black hole there now and planets aren't being sucked into it, There hasn't been any deviation as far as astronomy knows pertaining to the Milky Way or the solar system. There hasn't been any scientifically monitored change, and the black hole is there now. Why December the 21st? Well,
that's why we talk about science and religion, just like Dan Brown or other books have talked about science and religion. And how do you combine that? You know, how do you look at that and combine science and religion? You combine it with, it's the way we combine it in Son of Apollo is it's the evolution of the soul.
Or could it be the religion was the beginning ways that man tried to understand his surrounding, and the science is how we do understand it now, and how we understand that the world of today is based on science, and the world of yesterday and the ancients was based on speculation.
Well, that's a good point. You know, when you look at it, when you look at science and you look at religion, or you look at prophecy, or you look at metaphysics, you look at things in a different, you know, I mean, everybody's got an opinion, and you know what they say about opinions. Mm-hmm. You know, so when you look at it, what are you going to do? What happens on that fateful day?
Now
do we all die a horrible, flaming death? Is there going to be, yeah, granted, in Son of Apollo, if evil wins, yeah, there's a nuclear holocaust, okay? Mm-hmm. And if good wins, we ascend to the next level. It's so much about what you brought in about Kepler and, Galileo.
Yes.
Kepler's also involved in that, which was a very fascinating thing you brought into, and we could speak about for hours on this topic. But the whole thing is that Son of Apollo is about the evolution of the soul. We combine the two and take it to the next level. So what we do is, in the age of Aquarius, which was dawned in the 1960s, okay? The 1960s, who capitalized mostly on the 1960s age of Aquarius issue? The Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. And Frank Zappa came in after and wrote We're Only in It for the Money.
Yeah.
Okay? Those were two things. They made $1 billion doing it. And they capitalized on the age of Aquarius, which was, they brought the issue into the public eye. They didn't capitalize so much, but they brought it, they were visionaries, and they wanted to, Revolution by the Beatles. Come on, best song ever, right?
Yeah, it's up there in my favorites, but I look at the 60s a little differently than you do. The music of the Beatles was actually inspired by Elvis Presley prior to them.
And if you know about Elvis Presley, who was one of my favorites, along with Jim Morrison, Elvis Presley was big into gospel.
That's
I don't
right.
even think people know that he did gospel. And that was the major thing. I mean, that was the forefront when he went into studios and he started talking about things, and he was big into gospel. Then he changed, and I remember seeing his last concert when, on TV, I think it was, right? When he basically sung his last songs before he died. But Elvis Presley was a legend. He will always live on in my memories. Elvis was, we all wanted to be like Elvis, But the whole thing is that Frank Zappa also came in along with the Beatles. And the funny thing is that when I was a baby, I was a child model, and I have pictures with Frank Zappa holding me as a baby, which is really ironic considered of what we wrote and what he did with his music.
What kind of research did you do for your book? I mean, did you actually go down to the Mayan, the land of the Maya? Did you speak to the Mayans?
We went to the Maya. I went to Stonehenge. I felt the stones. There's tremendous power there. But the whole thing I've always been is that I've seen the future. I've been to hell. I've been to heaven. Before my father died, my father was a Zoroastrian. He accepted Christ as his savior, and he basically loved Christ so much that when a day before he died, he came to my mother and he told us that Christ spoke to him, and that we would all be taken care of, and that he had to go. And the next day he died. Okay? So, I mean, there are different things, but I'm still trying to put my finger on different issues in regarding to religion, but what I do find fascinating is my father's ancient religion, which is Zoroastrianism, which says all religions are like streams that run into one ocean, which is God. Either you believe or you don't.
Let me ask you this. You've obviously done a lot of research. You've traveled, as you said, to the land of the Maya. You've gone to Stonehenge. You felt the pyramids. Why did you write your book as a novel?
Because it just made the best sense, and it could have been a 10,000-page novel. Clinton and I can write another novel with what we dropped on the editing floor.
Yeah, but you understand my question, because people don't take novels seriously, and yet the message that I'm seeing that you're trying to bring out is something that should be looked at seriously.
Yeah, but how do you better do it within a book? I mean,
a novel, I agree. However, when people hear the word novel, they think of fiction.
Well, it is fiction because, in the book, in Son of Apollo, we do combine different assets. We take, and this is a good point you brought up, Rob, and I thank you for bringing it up, that, we have a new world order, two superpowers moving toward a chip-based cashless society in control of a one-world government, okay? And we use the British royal family, even though they are fictitious in nature. We bring them up. We use other world leaders who are involved in today because it does deal in 2012, and it starts on February 16th, 2012. So these people are involved. People are very smart these days. We thought about, bringing it to a point where, fine, okay, are we going to call him President Obama, or are we going to call him Herbert Hussein Walker? Okay, and make a fictitious character who, is involved in the situation. And we looked at it, and we had to bring in the British royal family with it, but they are fictitious as well. So when you look at it, did you ever read the Da Vinci Code?
Sure have.
Okay, Da Vinci Code is about Mary Magdalene's relationship with Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ had children, okay, which now that the Catholic Church learned to keep their mouths shut and not blast people for doing it. They did, and they made Dan Brown very famous because of it. Pretty much our novel, Son of Apollo, is about Prince William's relationship with the houses of David and Judah. And in biblical prophecy, as the United States and probably most of Canada is very well aware of, is about the relationship that you see in the modern day. How is this in the prophecies of Revelation? How is the Messiah or the King of the world going to claim to be King of the world? He has to claim lineage to the royal houses of David and Judah.
But, in your book, what made you decide to use the real names of the British royal family? But then when it came to the President of the United States, the President of Egypt, or the Prime Minister of Israel, you went with fictitious names.
Yeah, because people are very smart these days, Rob. And you know what? It was we didn't want it to be like a documentary.
Why not?
Because we wanted to throw that element into it to make it, a fantasy adventure that, people looked at it and didn't take it too seriously in the point that, now it's all about what's going on right now. It's a great tale. It's a coming of age story a heroic tale where the protagonist embarks on a series of quests to find his soulmate and fulfill his destiny. And what the Age of Aquarius is about is totally that, is that balance between the divine feminine, divine masculine will be achieved in the Age of Aquarius. So what we did was we threw in the monkey wrench into the chain, which snapped it and said, hey, let's do this and make it the never-ending battle between good and evil, which is our own Star Wars. If you've ever read anything A Hero with 1,000 Faces from Joe Campbell of how George Lucas wrote Star Wars, we can do the same thing. We have 12 ages, okay? But one thing I wanted to go back to is that the age we are shifting from the age of Pisces into the new age of Aquarius, okay, which is about balance between men and women, you know. But one thing I wanted to ask you, Rob, do you believe that balance could be achieved?
Yes, definitely.
You do?
I do.
And if balance is achieved, which the Maya, see, there's a misconception about the Mayan calendar. They believe their calendar didn't start at the beginning and it doesn't end at the end, okay? Their calendar started at 3114 BC, okay, which was the birth of Venus.
Right.
And we took, so you know, it's a fiction book. So we took the end date to coincide with the death of Venus, unless the protagonist or main character, Darius Prince, finds his soulmate and love is found. You know, there were many books that were written on this in different slants, you know, but we're not the slant of, you know, everything is, you know, all going to happen and we're all going to die flaming, destructive deaths and nuclear warfare, you know, but we took a antagonist, which are the Ghost Riders or Amazon women in our novel, and that they've been lied to by men for so long in matriarchal versus patriarchal society, and that we take it and try and balance it, that they're going to, you know, try and upset the balance by siding with evil, and that Darius has to, you know, find out who he is and come of age and become a man, and pretty much the rise of the new Roman Empire in biblical prophecy, according to Christians worldwide, that, you know, there will be an apocalyptic, you know, end, and most religions do believe that there is an end of days.
All right, stand by. We've got to take our final break for this hour. X-Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Darab Lawyer. He is the co-author of Son of Apollo, www.sonofapollo.com. The name of the exact name of the book is Revelation 911, Son of Apollo. Once again, www.sunofapollo.com. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
X-Zone Nation, Darab Lawyer is my special guest this hour. The name of their book, he is the co-author of Revelation 911, Son of Apollo. And next week, his co-author, Clinton Libbey, is going to be with us here in the X-Zone. Let me ask you one quick question, Darab, before we have to say so long. What happens December the 22nd comes, nothing has changed. December the 31st comes, nothing has changed. March the 16th, May the 30th, and the list goes on. Nothing has changed. What will this do to the New Age movement?
Well, you know what, Rob, that's a good question, because things are changing, and things will always change, okay? And in Son of Apollo, we are talking about change, okay, because we need change. And change is what makes us human, okay? Otherwise, do you want to hear that we're going to be thrown into the bottomless pit? And, you know, bottom line is this. We are at the forefront of a new age, and it's the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is about balance, okay? We are like human antennas walking around on this planet, okay, picking up signals, always learning things. And did you ever wonder why, like, you know, you picked up the phone, you called your friend Rob, and all of a sudden he picked up and said the phone didn't ring? Okay, it's about telecommunication, okay? And we can communicate through our minds as well, all right? But to get back to your question about are things going to end? Honestly, I really think that it's just the beginning, you know, and we're going to go into a new age, a glorious new age, in which we learn, we prosper. That is, if good wins. Again, I have to say, we wrote the novel based on good versus evil, like Star Wars did, but, you know, you have to look at it in those aspects.
As the Mayans say, 2012, awakening to a new era.
Yes.
You know, and we just came back from a 2-week expedition with the Mayans in the land of the Maya. We went into the Mayan mountains, through the rainforest, into the Mayan caves where they had ceremonies. We talked to members of government, tour guides, different institutions. And when you mentioned the end of the world prophecy, they laugh, because nowhere in any true Mayan literature does it ever mention the end of the world on December the 21st, 2012.
Well, that's a whole misconception about the end of the world on 2012. Supposedly, it doesn't end.
Of course not.
We just go to a next level. Like when you read the Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown touched on it. He said, "What was the Mona Lisa? The Mona Lisa was a hermaphrodite. Okay, a combination of man and woman." He only touched on it. I don't believe that we're going to be combined in that way. I would hope not.
No, neither do I.
Anyway, but
Darab,
we're going to go to the next level, and it's going to be a glorious new age. And,
Darab, we have to say so long for today. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Clinton will be with us next week. So, Darab, thanks very much for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. www.sonofapollo.com, Exonation. That's SUN of Apollo.com. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at 6.5 minutes past as the X Zone continues. We're right here, live from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name's Rob McConnell. Whatever you do, do not go away.